So when I was really young, probably 12, something like that, I just really was troubled by the question of where evil came from. And I remember laying in bed one night thinking, if God made everything there is in the world, and there's evil in the world, then God must have made evil. And if God made evil, then he cannot be good. And I didn't like that logic that I was coming up with. And so I tried to think it through again, so I would go through it again. Everything that there is in the world, God made. But there's evil in the world, God must have made evil. And therefore, if God made evil, he could not be good. And I must have chewed on that for like a half an hour. And every time I tried to think it through, I would come back to the same thing. So I distinctly remember this, and it was over 50 years ago. I remember laying there in bed thinking, okay, God, you've heard me think this whole thing through, and I do not like the conclusion I have come up with. So I am going to make it as my conscious choice, my decision, that I have figured this out wrong somehow. And I am going to choose to believe that you are good, even though I don't understand how. And I'm just going to trust your goodness more than my ability to figure this thing out. But I said, if you ever choose to give me the answer, I would really appreciate it. Well, time went on, and I never was able to express this question to anyone because I was afraid it was too heretical a thought. You would dare tell anybody that I was thinking such evil things. Well, years passed. And I was a senior in high school, and my grandmother passed away. I, of course, went to the funeral, and an uncle of mine, who was a minister in Philadelphia, just seemed like he was the kind of person that I could ask this question to. I really had never met him before, but he just seemed like I could ask him. So after the funeral, I asked him this question. And he goes, it seems to me that Milton talked about that in Paradise Lost. Well, I had never read Milton, so I was going, what did Milton have to say? And he said, God is bigger than you are, so don't ask embarrassing questions. Since then, I have read Milton, and that's not exactly what he said. But that kind of took the air out of my sails, and I go, well, maybe I shouldn't be asking these questions. And then a short while afterwards, that same year when I was a senior in high school, I got this substitute teacher several times for several class periods. But this was in the late 60s in Southern California. So he was a child of the times. So he was telling us all about Tony the healer who did bloodless surgery in the Philippines and all kinds of weird stuff like that. And I had him the last class of the day. And so I stayed after school, and we got in this big debate and discussion. And finally he says, okay, answer me this one. If in the beginning there was only God, and God made everything, but we had evil in the world, and I knew where he was going, and I knew what he was going to say, and I knew I didn't have the answer. I remember sort of laughing because I knew he had me. And by the time he finished the sentence, I said, in the beginning, there was God, and God is absolute goodness. All goodness is contained within God, in the absolute goodness of God. And if God were to make anything other than himself, to create something other than himself, it could be good, very good, but it couldn't be absolute good. Otherwise, it would just be more of the absolute good, God. It would be simply an extension of his absolute self. Consequently, anything that God made has the potential to be less than absolute good. Consequently, it has the potential to be evil. I was more surprised than he was because I knew I didn't have the answer. And I had been struggling with this question for years. So what that did is that it gave me permission to ask this question. I am in my late 60s now, and I have been working on this question for decades. I was a philosophy major for that reason, searching for that question, etc. After I became a philosophy major, I discovered that there's this whole branch of philosophy trying to solve what is called the problem of evil. So I have come up with a theodicy, and I have been trying to develop it to the extent that I would be able to write it and share it with other people. The bottom line, without going into all of its details, is that God is love. And for love to be expressed in its fullness, it has to have an object to love. And so, of course, there was love within the three persons of the Trinity, but the one God who is made up of that chose to make an other to love, to express his love upon. And the goal was to have the ultimate love relationship as an expression of the God who is love. And that's what humanity is. But
this creation is the ultimate expression of love.
Yes, it is. And to have the ultimate love relationship, the object of the love, may I say the bride, is going to have to be able to appreciate who the groom is. She is going to have to appreciate these qualities of love to the extent of loving the unlovely, forgiveness, that quality, mercy, and even she is going to have to know evil and have chosen to reject it as well. Otherwise, she would not be compatible with it. So I spent all kinds of time as a philosophy major developing that into a formal theodicy. But I had never really been successful in writing it yet because I was still picking it apart, seeing all kinds of flaws in my logic here and there. But in the process of being discouraged about not producing this, I also discovered this phrase, Felix culpa. Have you heard Felix culpa?
I don't think so.
Felix is happy. You probably know it as Feliz Navidad, happy birth. And culpa is fall or responsibility or evil, like being culpable. Okay, so that's the root of it. So Felix culpa is happy fall or happy fault. Just like in that verse where Joseph says to his brothers, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good, for the saving of many lives. You can take that same concept and apply it to the whole universal history of humanity. That evil was meant by the evil one to bring about evil, but God used it in order to bring about a good that was so much better than could have happened without it. Because if we had remained in Eden as only knowing good and not knowing good and evil, we never could have developed into being this ultimate creature who can appreciate the qualities of the divine groom. We would never be able to comprehend that.
The fall is an element which exists across virtually all religions as well. The concept of the original sin, the Pandora's box, the Apple of Eden, all of those.
And so I was at the chiropractor's office one day, and you know where they put those little electrical probe things, that zap, you're supposed to relax your muscles. And I needed to have my muscles relaxed because I was very uptight about this. And actually I was laying there and I was crying. I mean, there were tears running down my face because I was just so discouraged. That I had this idea and I wanted to get it out, to share it, and it just wasn't happening, and maybe I was just being lazy or procrastinating or whatever. I was just in this upset. Yes, I was in a rut. Yeah, writer's block, whatever, all of the above. That's where I was. And I was laying there thinking, Felix culpa, just because to me that was kind of the core of what my theodicy was. It's the happy fall. And it gives meaning and hope and destiny for anybody who can see that in the middle of whatever rut of evil and darkness they might be in. It gives a solution to all of it and gives a happy destiny. And, I wanted to share this with the world, but I wasn't making any progress. And I was just thinking, God, help me, but this is not the first time I've asked for help and it's not happening. And anyway, so I was laying there and I opened my eyes just kind of blearily. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, this was Thanksgiving week where this was happening. And I opened my eyes, and on the back of the door, the doctor's office, was hanging this decoration. And while I was thinking Felix culpa, this was hanging on the door.
Happy fall. Happy fall.
And then I really cried.
Yeah.
And it also says welcome.
Mm.
Because it's like an invitation to this solution, this explanation, not only of the whole history of humanity and our destiny as human beings, but it's a welcome to individual people who are in the slough of their culpa to have the Felix offered to them. And it's just a matter of welcome. It's here for you. You just receive it and it just enter into it. And my husband went to the secretary and said, I need to buy that from you. And she said, I'll just give it to you. He says, no, you don't understand. I've got to pay you for this, but I need that. And so that is how come I have this. And even though I still haven't written my theodicy, this is my hope. It's like a message from God that it will happen someday. I'll tell you the name of it, though. It's going to be called Evil and the Bridegroom.
I love it.
So that is the story of why I have this hanging in my hall all year long, even during the autumn.
Yeah, that's great.
The end.